Is it that they release new campaigns like Deep Madness and things like that? Is that keeping them afloat? It's up for debate, really. They don't say everything. They're going to make another new game, Celestial, probably late this year, next year. But, they need to get this one out the door, or people won't be backing it.
The prophecy is true.
Another day, another Kickstarter that's failed to meet expectations. Let's find out why. Hello, Board Game Shenanigans here. So, Celestial has been cancelled from Diemension Games. This was marketed as a epic sci-fi fantasy board game experience for 1 to 4 players, playable in co-op or PvP, inspired by ancient Chinese mythology. Now, if anyone knows anything about Celestial before we get into this, this game has been out there for a while, where they've been, drip feeding some information as time goes on. I think they had the miniature sculpts prepped maybe half a decade ago now. It's quite a while. It's been on their list to do. They wanted to put it on Kickstarter in 2021. They missed that. They missed last year, and they've gone for now, right now, in September 2023, which, if you watch my previous video about games I'm glad I didn't back, I kind of already said it'd be a poor move to put this out there right now. And of course it was, because Dawn of Madness is still not shipped out there, and that reason enough alone could be the only reason why this game hasn't met the goal quite quickly in the first few days as they wanted. But it's not the only reason. I'm going to just go through everything I could pick up on this campaign. And just as a learning experience, really, maybe Diemension Games can learn from it, make right decisions, and maybe other game companies can learn from it and know how to market a game and how to get it out there so they actually do well on Kickstarter and don't just, mess it up with a failed launch like this one. So, overall, they got 92,000 in just under a few days and cancelled it the second day after it launched. 379 backers for that, and overall that would put it around just under $250 each person was throwing down there to try and get this game funded. That's quite a lot to go in with, and we'll see why that's a lot when we see the pledges and how much they were asking for each item here. But let's just go through the actual campaign page to start with, just to see each thing. So they start off with explaining, the background of what type of game they're making, the lore really. It's it's based on mythology, cyberpunk, steampunk. It's got all these different genres thrown in there, and then they're showing its different types of modes to play. I think this is a poor start to start with, as they should just show, the game. But, we have no video, we just have box art and miniature. The first picture should be, this is what the game looks like. Because with a board game, you're really selling on appearance. You're not selling on anything else, really. I think that is the main thing. People go, ooh, that looks good. Don't judge a book by its cover. But with a board game, I think most people do. You see the cover, and that's what the first thing you see, your first experience. It needs to blow you away and be something you want to purchase. But they've messed that up, I think, already, because starting with text, people go, nah, that's nothing. There's nothing. Where's show me the game? Show me the game, right? They're not showing it. Then they go into, this is how they're doing it. They're going to do a core box, episode 1, episode 2, and then a episode 3 through stretch goals. So that's 3 big boxes a game off the bat, first campaign. That's just too much. You've got to, drip feed some people in sometimes. It's not good to just say, here's all this stuff we're going to make, and this is how much all it costs all together. It's too much at once. They could have just done, let's do a episode 1 campaign, launch it, distribute it, sell it, then let's do episode 2 when that one ships, and then episode 3, and so on and so forth, doing that way, because that would be better. Because if they did it, one at a time, more people would be like, oh, that's a good deal, let's get that, and then, oh, more, I'll get more, yeah, and it easily can get people into it that way. but they didn't do that. Then the next thing they say is, we expect to deliver all miniatures by October 24 and all game promo boxes by October 25. So, again, this is a complete mistake in my mind. Why would you say you're going to ship all the minis in 1 year and then all the game the next year, but you have to buy it all together anyway? So you're waiting 2 years for the actual game, and most people want the game. They don't want just the minis. I think that for mini people, there's that many different companies out there. They don't want to buy a game on top because they have to buy the game with it. So they just wait and get the minis somewhere else, some other way. I think there is another way to purchase these minis. They might be more expensive, but you get them sooner, and you're not having to spend all this money on a game that you're probably not going to play. So people who want the game, you're waiting too long, and you have to get it two-way shipping or wait even longer just to get the minis with the rest. So to start, there's no good selling points straight away. It doesn't really tell you anything about the game, what it looks like, but they just go in saying minis. It's about selling the minis, really, because that's what's coming first. So we could go through the rewards here, but I think we'll just go through them as they appear. So they have the Y back now, and again, I don't think it's a good value. Honestly, I think that throwing out 350, 525, that just scares people off. They go, whoa, that's too much to get gameplay all in. What's the difference between these? They might just stop there. They haven't even shown the game yet. So why are they showing the prices when you don't even know what the game is yet? Bit too early, I think. Then they go, there's a free gift. Well, yeah, a big mini, okay. Pledge $175, but yeah, well, what is that? You haven't shown us off yet. If you've seen it here, you've seen it, but it doesn't show you what you get here. So, again, it's completely back to front, this campaign. Then they show you this, and they go, well, anyone who knows about minis will go, okay, they're on sprues. Anyone who just wants a board game, they'll go, oh no, they're on sprues. I'm leaving. That's what they'll do. Now, not for me, personally. I can build a miniature. It's not a big deal for me, but it's a lot of work just to get it to the table, and then most people want to paint too, so there's a lot more work just to try and play this game than an ordinary game like their previous campaigns would have their miniatures already pre-built. This one does not, so you've kicked out a lot of people there who don't want to build miniatures. Then we go be a part of the journey. Again, it's like, sometimes this sort of thing where you're you've got to, be a part of the community type of thing. I don't think that many people care about this. I think most people are lurkers, and they just back a game and don't say anything in the comments, and they just want to buy a game and play it. They don't really care about interacting. That's the majority of people on the internet. They don't really care about that sort of thing. They just want the game, right? But so far, you haven't showed the game, so a lot of people probably don't care at the moment, right? You're not sold anyone on the game, on the campaign. It should be the first thing you do, but they haven't done that. Then you've got pledge levels, and they start going through again, but they're just showing boxes. Show us the game. No, again, 175 for core box 1, core box 2, 175. Put them both together, you get the stretch goal, which is core box number 3. Well, that one doesn't advertise as that, but again, it's like you're just throwing a lot out there, just boxes. You've not shown the game, but we're supposed to be sold on that so far. I think, this is one big reason why this campaign hasn't done well. It doesn't advertise itself well at all. And it seems rushed, like they've thrown this out there, this campaign, just to get it out there. And, I didn't see any advertising. I didn't see, here's the countdown, we're going live this day. Not happened. It just shadow dropped itself. And people were like, oh, right. And I didn't know about it. I got an email, and it went into my junk mail from Diemension Games saying, come and back this now. And I clicked on it, and then it popped up, this game has been cancelled. So I got my email so late that it didn't even, tell me that the game was live. It was already gone by the time I got there. Then you have your gameplay all-in. Not the all-in, the gameplay all-in. $5.25. So you get your 3 boxes, the free gift, and 2 extra boxes. And they're selling too much at one time here. I think that's a key problem with a lot of Kickstarters these days, and this one, no exception. too much at once. People would do much. They'll do much better if they sold just box one, or just one big pledge or some way. No pick and mix what you want. Just here's one item, one big box, stretch goals, done. And then they do next campaign, big box, stretch goals, done. And this could have been split up much easier that way. And I just think this is just too much to, for palette for people to get straight away. And then we get the first video. And I think this wasn't here before, because I think I saw King of Average commented saying, I don't know why they haven't shared my video. But here it is, him showing off all the minis. But yeah, showing off the minis. They're just selling the minis so far. They haven't sold the actual game at all. It's just miniatures. And if you want to sell miniatures. But this is like the first miniature you've shown besides the original image and the sprues. You showed this one and the one in the front cover, but you're not showing everything yet. So we're already quite far down, and then we go, here's a video of minis. Not really selling the game at all. Then we actually go, what's in the box? And we see it's got miniatures, cards, and say what's in the box, but this is going to be shipping in 2 boxes because they're shipping the miniatures first, then the rest. So that's not in the box because it's each 2 boxes each. So it's, again, the image doesn't really match what they're selling here. And they go through each miniature really, and with other components sprinkled around, but none of this explains the game. So again, we're not explaining the game. It's miniatures, cards. Doesn't explain what we're doing yet. It just says we've got 3 different modes. Here we go. It doesn't said this is how you play the game. They haven't gone through that. All these different bugs and things. Keep going. They all look quite similar. A little bit bigger each one, really, like troops. Right? Big stag beetle. Then one with some wings. And one with a drill on its head. They're quite generic. Then you start with the women miniatures. And I do say start because they keep going. And going. And going. And, they're all, this one's a bit different, a bit more of a hearthy looking thing. But, again, no, it's just like a lot really just focused on the miniatures, right? We're selling us on the minis, not the actual, all these look the same, each picture, not really selling on what else you get. And you get the boards, look cool, and we go through, and that's about the end of that. Then they go with another unboxing of the game, and I'm like, well, the miniature part starts from 24. It's like they're selling on the minis again. Like, look, this is when the miniatures show up in this particular video, but I think this is the last video shared on this entire campaign. So you got an unboxing of miniatures and an unboxing of the game with the miniatures. They didn't cover anyone else. No one else got the game. No one else reviewed it. No one did a how to play. None of that's ready for this campaign. It launched well too early if nothing's out there. Even if you don't even want to deal with YouTubers or any review site or anything, you just want to try and sell the game, you should make your own videos, put it out there, and attach it to the campaign. First thing you see, this is how you play. Like a trailer can do that, or you can have a full-on, this is how you go talk through the entire game. That would be the best thing to link here and put in this campaign, but they hadn't done it. And, if there's no thing saying, this is how you play the game in a short way, no one's going to back it. It's just simple as that, really. People will just go, you're not showing me the game, I'm just going to scroll past it, right? And again, episode 2 comes, and they do the same thing. You can have Tits McGee here showing off, but, how many of these look the same? If you give me these, I couldn't tell the difference. Which difference between a Wunu Blood and a Wunu Hex? You can't really tell me. It's just another miniature. Look, how many of these are you going to actually tell the difference of? They all look the same. They all blend into one. There's no clear distinction of each different one here. I know they're all supposed to be in the same faction, but even the other factions looked the same too. This same style of women looks the same. That one could easily squeeze in with these ones and you wouldn't know the difference. Again, they go on showing minis, and it is selling on the minis because they're all massive and impressive and things like that, but it's just too much to sell at one time, I think, as well. It's just, throwing a box of minis, Yeah, but you're not showing the game. We're almost halfway down this, and we still haven't got to gameplay. Here we go. Talking about the miniatures. Here's the scale. They're all hips, plastic. You have to take them off the sprues and stick them together yourself. Showing the high quality, but that's not selling the game. If you're trying to sell miniatures and then sell the game later for the miniatures. You could do it like that, or you could just sell one box with so many miniatures, enough to play the game, and then do campaign number 2 and release episode 2, then episode 3. And if it's a popular game, it should get more supporters as time goes on. And they go stretch goals, episode 3. So you think this one, they wouldn't be saying anything yet, right? It's like, we haven't even funded yet. But instead, they list off every stretch goal for this new episode. How many they show off here. None of it funded, so why are you showing off all this extra stuff when, you aren't even funded yet? Shouldn't you just drip feed this stuff in? But no, they've got a page of stretch goals going down and down and down, but none of it's even coming out yet. I mean, that's just too much. Like, you just got all the stuff you wanted to sell, but you couldn't justify selling core box number 3, so instead you go, it's a stretch goal box, right? And you get it if you back at the pledge that gets both core boxes. But instead, you should have just done it a different way around than this. It's just the backwards way of trying to sell this. Is like, you want people to back with as much money as possible at one time, when they're not even comfortable backing this one just yet. And there's more reasons to come. But finally, we get into gameplay on this campaign. And we go game modes. There's epic mode, challenge mode, skirmish mode. So you've got a solo, cooperative, or competitive top mode. Then just a solo co-op mode and a skirmish competitive only mode. And it's kind of like you do the campaign, and then you can come back and play different missions and stuff, or types of skirmishes. So it's like, that's your starter, and then you come in and do this later, right? As you follow up to replay type of thing. But again, that's just, it's not explaining the game. You're just saying there's 3 different modes, right? And then they go next bit, playing Celestial. And you'd think that this entire section here would explain how to play the game. But I read through it, and it doesn't tell you. It's just lots of text, being very hyperbolic, explaining what you do in the game, but it doesn't actually say, on your turn, you will do this, and then you move on to the next turn. It doesn't really explain it in the basic terms you should explain a board game. If you were teaching this text would be, nothing to you. It wouldn't help you tell people how to play. It's just more waffle trying to explain, trying to make big the game up, but it's not actually explaining the actual game. The way to explain the game is through the rulebook, which is here, which they have a rulebook. It is, in progress. But again, they go with a type of rulebook that merges all the modes into one book, which could be the wrong move. They've got art in here. They go through different modes. This is how you set up this mode. This is how you set up that mode. This is how you set up the next mode. And then they finally get into the rules quite far in. You got to keep going and going and going, playing the game. We're 16 pages into the rulebook, and we can finally learn how to play. And it goes, right, so you'll play with rounds that go event, activation, refresh. Very simple. That should be earlier up in the book, I think. Just to go, this is the general game of how you play. Then they go, this is how you set up, and then this is all the different actions you can do. That's what it should be. And they go set up, and they go, if it's in the black box, it's for the competitive. It's in the orangey colour box, it's co-op. So then again, they've got different rules. You have to keep jumping between. And then they get into, here's what you do activation. You activate all your troops one by one, back and forth until you're done. Very simple concept, but they don't cover it in the page. They only cover it here in the rulebook. And most people won't come and read rulebooks. And I'm sorry to say, it's just, this is the advanced people, the people who are really digging into the game right now, not the people who want to just buy it. You don't want to know everything about the game before you buy it, because, if you're reading the rules, you're not going to remember any of it. It's not going to sell you on the game. You should be sold by someone else telling you, or a video explaining this is how the game works and this is every turn you do. But again, they go through all this mechanical stuff here, but it's only in the rulebook. And they do have the scenario book as well, going through some story if that's what's selling you. But again, it doesn't tell you much in here. This one's just like can give you a bit of a hint of how things work, but it doesn't give you the actual rules. So again, the books, they're just here, and that's how you find the rules. Really, it's the only place to find the rules for the game. They should at least cover some of this in the page and say, this is what you do at the start of the game. Do each turn will go like this, back and forth, or at least a little gameplay clip or something. But it's not here. And they have a bit of a lore book as well, which is a bit more extra. But it's like you're selling lore, you're selling miniatures, or you're selling a game, right? Then they go, here's how to play, coming soon. This shouldn't be a coming soon. It should be ready day one when the campaign goes live. If you need to delay the campaign a week to get these videos ready, then you delay it a week. You do not just rush it out there, because no one's going to go, oh, how to play is not here, well, I'm not going to back it now, and then you're going to forget about it. They're going to move on and not bother backing the game. That's how most people go. And then they go add-ons, unit packs. So there's more packs, and these ones come in the all-in. The all-in, it comes with these 2 extra boxes with extra miniatures, extra stuff. It's like, well, again, the miniatures can still kind of blend in with the rest of them. Some of them are cool and more unique, but otherwise, it's just, another pack, right? Why couldn't you just sell one box and not all these little boxes on the side? It's not really going to help you sell the game by throwing more at it. It just means the people who are already convinced will throw more money at it. Not you're going to get more people, and more people is what you really need, because you need to sell more copies, not sell more of individual boxes, less and less and less as you go with more content. And you have your free miniature for your big pledge. And then they get into extras, scenery packs. Yeah, so you thought that the all-in here, where it's $5.25 gets you everything. No. There's scenery packs, and then you go this $150 for one massive mini, right? And they go down here, and they go $150 for one massive mini, and they go $200 for 4 big towers, and they go again, and you go down, and it's $150 for one big mini, and you go again, and it's $100 for 6 big towers. And then if you want them all, $650. So if you want all these extra, scenery minis, you're spending more than the rest of the game. So it just feels to me that they're selling miniatures and not really selling a game from that. $1,000 something dollars. And this isn't everything. This won't be everything, because if you go down, accessories, they're not here yet, but they were going to have them. So they were going to have another all-in on top with everything else, including these accessories probably. And that's just $1,000 odd, could be $1,200, could be even more than that, we don't know. But that's a lot of money to throw down for a brand new game from a publisher that's, not, shipped everything that they've ever made. And, their games have not been universally acclaimed. They've had mixed reception, so it's a lot to throw down for people right now. And, just because they've rushed this campaign out, it's lost some trust in some people. They shouldn't have put it out there right now. It's too early. And they go to shipping, and they cover, we're going to ship minis 2024, game 2025, shipping friendly, no VAT. Why don't they say the VAT here? Say VAT is included, tax is included in all these countries. This should be front of the top of the page, I think. Not, these are usually in the top image, and they weren't. I think it was just languages. Like, it wasn't actual country friendly shipping. It should include that at the top, because then people know that $5.25 includes the taxes. And for me, someone in the UK, that's 20%. That's 20% of the cost is VAT. So if we knew that, we'd go, actually, hold on, $100 of that is taxes. So it seems a bit a better deal, because other games would tell me that afterwards, and I have to charge me another $100. So if I knew that at the top of the page and not here in the bottom, it's better for selling people, because people will know, well, my taxes are included there. Shipping seems quite fair overall. They've got their all-in, but there is no all-in pledge, so that's including all those extra miniatures there. So they're not adding too much to the shipping for most countries here. I think besides possibly the New Zealand and the rest of the world, shipping's quite fair across the board, I would say. And then they go to this bit, world setting. And this bit it's just a lore dump of stuff. And I think that, this shouldn't even be on the campaign. I think it just should be somewhere else, somewhere you can link and read if you're interested, because, most people aren't buying a board game for this. And then I noticed, if you keep going through this, then they go about us. Yeah, sounds interesting. Yeah, this is what we're. There's no, tab for what about us, and they explain this is who we are, this is what we've made, and we go, yeah, here we go. These guys have liked us, and then it weirdly edited where they've got Dawn of Madness thrown in the middle here when in the middle of a sentence, bit odd. And then I kept going, and then I realised they edit it wrong because it goes back to lore after you do the about us. It's back to reading about lore, and that shouldn't be that way. This should have been at the bottom, but they, didn't proofread this properly before they rushed this campaign out there. That about us should be at the very bottom, or even earlier on, because that would have been a better selling point. This is who we are. This is what we do. Why should you back our game? Then they go to risk and challenges, and that's it. That's it. But it's a very long scroll of stuff, just showing off miniatures for primarily, and just so much. I think they've gone wrong with here. It's not just because games like Dawn of Madness and Deep Madness haven't actually shipped yet. Because, Dawn of Madness, it's 4 years from the campaign, 2 years late. It's coming at some point. They could have waited, like I said. They should have waited until this is shipped out, and then they could actually sell this Celestial game much better. Because if this one's done, no one's going to be like, whoa, I'm not backing another game from you. Because you haven't given me this one yet, right? This one, after this one, the campaigns haven't been doing as well. Because this one has taken too long to get out the gate. See the Deep Madness reprint from last year, around this time last year. This is the campaign they threw out last year, because they have this, they want to rush out these campaigns around this time of the year, near the end of the year, just to get a bit more money from people, like in October, September period. And they put this one out there, and, it didn't do nearly as well as the previous Deep Madness games. And this one's supposed to be like the, this is it. This is the closer, everything, and it's the last version. But no one really, very limited. If you look, that seemed like a lot there, 4,400. But actually, if you look at what they actually had at the time, half of those people just went in for $1. So a lot of people, they weren't committed at that time. Because again, this one maybe didn't have enough advertising behind it either. Just like Celestial just shadow dropped itself. This one kind of came out of nowhere. I think a few people saw it when they were showing off for like Gen Con and things like that, but then it just kind of, here it is, campaign's live, back it, and half people just went, oh, let's put $1 for now. And how many people went in with a pledge after that, I don't know, but not many went in for that. They all like 300. They could have done much better on this one too, but I think that's because Dawn of Madness, when this one came out, was already a year late. So, and that one, they thought it was coming that around that time a year ago, because the miniatures were made. They were in a warehouse. They were on a pallet waiting, and then the rest of the game's still taking another year to make. It's very odd when, if someone like me can go on YouTube and say, this game shouldn't have launched right now. They shouldn't have launched right now, because if I can see it, that obviously they shouldn't have launched, then they shouldn't have. But they didn't really learn. They haven't really. I don't think the company is doing amazing well, because they don't know that launching this too early is a bad move, because it would be obvious it would be a bad move. They were initially going to do it after Dawn of Madness, but Dawn of Madness has taken more time, and they just want to rush this campaign out there to try and get us more money in the winter, fall months, right? That's what they wanted, but I think that's just silly move, really. If they aren't in a bad place financially, they could have waited. If they are in a bad place financially, they needed to rush this campaign out there, and that's not a good sign if they are. But they say they aren't, but I don't know if I 100% believe them there. If there's no reason they should have rushed this campaign out. They should have waited until at least, at minimum, Deep Madness and Dawn of Madness were on the boats, ready to go. Not, that's just in the factory still. They waited a bit longer, at least get it into some people's hands. Because even other games like Teneris Adventures recently, they, not everyone had it, but a lot of people did. So it made an impact that they just about got it, right? So it's not like too much of a rush if people are starting to get it. But no one's got it, right? Deep Madness isn't too late. It's 1 month late at the moment. That's quite fair. If they can get it by the end of the year, it's all right. But if it's next year, it's a bit late, and it seems like it's going to be next year. Same with Dawn of Madness, but they say both could come this year, but I really doubt it. You've got to produce it, finish it all off, ship it out on the boats. That can take a few months. I think we're going to push to after like the Chinese New Year, because it's coming from China, and they always delay themselves in like the January and February months when they're partying and having holidays, right? So that's what's going to happen, right? And they say, we apologise, we launched it too early. The miniature's been sitting away for a year for Dawn of Madness. That's how long they've been sitting there. It's just, and there's still the rest of the game to make. That's quite a lot to do. So they kind of pushed the launch back again. They've cancelled this campaign. Shouldn't change their miniature goal for next year, because they said they're going to start making them. But again, I don't think that's a good move either, because then they're going to press the big red button, produce so many miniatures, and then not get enough backers to support them, and then they'll have a warehouse of miniatures they can't sell, right? That's not a good move either. They need to just get a pre-order system down, and then that'll be easier than a Kickstarter, because then they don't have to time it. If they could say, we have a pre-order, when we hit 1,000 pre-orders, we can hit the red button and ship it out to people. That could be a different solution, and then just try and rush a campaign out there and with no advertising, really. It just came out of nowhere. Shadow dropped. They say we're going to give people a special gift. See you in a few months. So likely coming back for the end of the year. They do have a little bit of a FAQ from the time. Some of that's fine, two-way shipping. And then they go with this bit with the, are you creating campaigns, not games? And I think, is this coming from like King of Average? Because that's kind of his like slogan. He kind of says that. So, they're saying, well, no, we're not. We're making games. But yeah, you could be making games. But does it mean it's financially viable? Are you doing well? Is actually your system working well? Because if you're getting all your games delayed, it doesn't seem like it's going to go that well, right? This one probably get delayed too. That's what most people see. And yeah, there was a lot of comments. A lot of people, a bit disappointed. You should have waited. You don't need to release this yet. Different opinions here. Loads of people saying it. But again, it wasn't much of a buzz. 334 comments. It's not the same as other campaigns might have got in a first day, no like words talking. There's a lot of clues there really about why this campaign did well, and it's not even like there wasn't some like let's plays and stuff. There is some. There's like on Tabletop made a let's play Celestial. It's a 2-hour video. Most people aren't going to probably watch that, but there was another option there. They could have actually had a game that's like some gameplay out there, but they didn't. They didn't wait any longer. This came out like right on the day the campaign, before the campaign was going live. So these probably were in the know. They knew it was coming. Probably King of Average knew, but they're the only channels that are getting like videos out. So clearly they weren't prepared, because they should have more YouTubers. If YouTube matters, they should have had more. So to round it out, I think that due to the previous campaigns they have, that's a big reason why this campaign didn't do well. Simply put, really, Dawn of Madness, 4 years out from their original campaign. That's a long time people have been waiting. Shipping those minis separately, I think that's a poor move as well. I think they should ship it all at once. I know that the game is probably behind the miniatures. They want to try and get the miniatures out there, but you're selling it all now. There could be another way. I think that 2 waves like that, it's not big for the board gamer. The pledges, they're too big. These are too big pledges. No one's really looking at them. 130 went for the all in there, 43 for the big pledge, and then 7 and 30 for the other one. So like most people are going for all of it, but it's quite a lot at once. I think that the market's changing. I think that less and less people are willing to pay even more and more. Like that type of pledge would have cost a lot less before. And I know you're going with these high quality miniatures, but I think it's still too much for what it is. selling miniatures on the sprues. That's turning off a lot of people who are just board gamers. It's always going to do worse than a board game that's fully built for you. And the sculpts, a lot of them look the same to me. There's a few little minor details, but how many different crawling monsters and bugs can you get, and women can you get? Quite a lot of the same, and it's all samey for the miniatures. I think that's not a big selling point for a lot of people. I think that they want a bit more difference in what they're buying. The miniatures, it's no different than somewhat like a Simon game, really. How many different sculpts they give that look the same? Well, these look the same. It's just another woman, right? The videos aren't ready. Videos on this game, there's nothing out there. A few unboxings that are attached to the campaign. That's not enough. They needed more ready, more prepped videos. And having the campaign not explain the game properly. They have to dig into the rulebook to understand this is how the game functions and how each turn will go. That's just too much to dig into. It should be front and center on the campaign. Show what the game looks like. This is how you play. That should be first thing on the top line information. That should be. And the rulebook, it's quite a long read as well. People aren't going to go and dig into that, so people aren't going to run back the game because it's too much. If that's the only place they can learn the game, it's too much for most people to just want to research into before they back this game. I think the VAT information should be up here. It should be VAT included in the pledge. Put the friendly shipping at the front. That would help a lot as well. I think there's just and in general, there's too much to buy. Too many items. This could be split into like 3 campaigns, not one Kickstarter campaign. $1,000 for everything. They could have just done one core box, maybe one of these expansions, maybe, or like put one of these as the stretch goals, and put it as like $200 game. That could do a lot better than a $275 core boxes, then an extra stretch goal box, which should be just as valuable as those two, and then a big massive pledge with all these extra things. It's quite a lot, and then all the scenery. It's too much stuff, too expensive, too many options. People don't like being swarmed with options. They just want bits and pieces in their face. Just show them a big box, I'll buy it. It's more popular that way, I think. I think the page, this Kickstarter campaign page, it's rushed, it's poorly designed in general. It needs a lot of work from things I've stated, like the top line information should be better, especially. And I think that having a poor performance first few days, that's a sign of failure. So it's good they cancelled it now and not in a month, when it's closing out. So they made the right decision there to stop it now, but it shouldn't have come out here in the first place. Shouldn't have been rushed without all this prep done. It shouldn't have been rushed without these other games being shipped out there. It was just a poor way to do it. And, that's just in general kind of how it's happened here, really. It's just there's a lot of things going after this game, really. They should have prepped a bit better, Diemension Games. I don't think that, they're bad people. I just think they might be a bit incompetent when it comes to this campaign thing. Maybe because they haven't done a big campaign for a while. But after Dawn of Madness is really quite popular. I think overall they should emulate that. But I think that when they've gone and said we're going to change that game and completely redesign it, and now they've got a 2-year delay on their hands, that's tarnished their reputation a bit more than anything else. I think it's the way they kind of rushed into this one. It's a bit madness. I think that's the best way to describe it. Madness of how they've designed this campaign and rush it out there. They shouldn't have done it. And will it hurt them? I'm not sure. Will they come back and blow this goal out of the water? I'm not too sure. Only if these other games are actually shipped out will that happen. And you've also got to make sure that Dawn of Madness is the top experience you can, and it's actually a really good game, because Deep Madness is already quite mixed. I think that not everyone thinks it's amazing. There's some people who backed it who enjoy it just enough, but it's not like people's top game of all time. It's a decent game, but I think that we'll have to see when they come back, see what they can do. But that's just my general ramble on that and what I think happened to this campaign and where they can actually improve. And I hope they do, and I hope they come back and redesign this campaign and change the way they're selling it and make it at least better in trying to tell people how they actually should, why they should back it and things like that. Because I don't think the campaign was well designed at all, really. I think that's a big thing, a selling point, showing you how you buy it, what you can buy. It's not doing a good job at selling it to most people, I think. Yeah. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Bye.